This meeting of the City Council the presiding officer over this City Council meeting. In consideration of others and the business being conducted tonight, please ensure that your telephones are silenced and any other electric device is silenced, and refrain from speaking unless you are being recognized. Again, this is a public meeting for the City of Glendora. We appreciate and respect your participation here this evening. For the record, looking at the dais, all members of the council are present. So, Madam Clerk, we are present and ready for conducting our business. This time I would like to invite our invocation and pledge. And for invocation, I'd like to ask Associate Pastor Father Vega of St. Dorothy's Catholic Church to come forth and give us our invocation. And following that, we will have a Pledge of Allegiance led by Evangeline Leslie, a senior at Glendora High School, who is here monitoring us, so we got to be on our best behavior for her government class led by Mr. Waters. Pastor, shall we stand?
Sure.
I would like to invite each of us to take a moment of silence to recognize the presence of the divine within us. Dear Holy One, we thank you for your gifts and blessings. You call us to share our gifts and talents to build up the community of Glendora. Please guide and direct us in our work so that we may reflect your divine love. We ask you to breathe your wisdom upon us, that we may come to a deeper appreciation of the truth and act with prudence and compassion toward others. Please bless these, our elected leaders, that all they propose, enact, and enforce may honor the dignity of all who reside in this community. May they reflect your integrity, truth, and compassion through their continued service in Glendora. Please grant us your peace, that we may live in peace in all that we do. Let it be so. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father Vega and Evangeline. Thank you very much. At this point, come to the opportunity to reorder or add to our agenda. I'll ask, is there anyone who wishes to reorder or make any additions? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move on. Next, to come to our public comment section, I would like to open public comment and invite members of the public to address the legislative body. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, speaking once on both on and off agenda items. If you are in attendance, please fill out a speaker card and submit it to our recording administrator before the close of the public comment period. Once recognized, speakers should advance to the podium, state your name, the subject matter you wish to discuss, and share your comments. Speaker cards are like this, yellow, and they are on the podium or outside in the lobby. I believe I have one speaker card for Mr. Moore.
Buenas noches, good evening. I'm here to talk about Larios Park. I was there at Duarte. I didn't see anybody that I recognized from Glendora, so I wanted to address that issue directly with the City Council. I'm very disturbed by how it came to our doorstep. We had higher than the surrounding community COVID deaths, so because we're an older community here in Glendora, we're more susceptible to pathogens. And I'm concerned about what I see over there. It looks like an open-air swap meet. There's no containment structures. There's no air scrubbers. We take more precautions when we go to get our car painted or something sandblasted than what we're dealing with over there. It is so highly toxic that they just recently shut down parts of Malibu and Santa Monica just from the runoff. The water from our last rainstorm hitting the debris field, running down to the ocean, they found such high toxins and carcinogens in the sand that they didn't want the public coming in contact with it. This is sitting over the largest water table in the San Gabriel Valley, including the San Gabriel River. So we're about to get another big storm in, and they should close that down until after the storm passes, everything dries out. It's not just prudence, but it's also, our lives, our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives could be at stake here. I'm concerned about how it came to be that it's over here. I applaud Senator Rubio and also the mayor from Baldwin Park that was able to hold EPA's feet to the fire so that they did have to deviate from their notes and their narrative. And they did admit that they could have done this over there at the burn scar area. There's plenty of parks and recreational facilities there. What you see, I believe, is a very homogenetic, very affluent city in San Marino, a very metropolitan, large one in Pasadena. They contacted and threw their weight around with Washington. They contacted somebody there who told somebody who then put the thumb screws to FEMA, and FEMA put the thumb screws to the EPA, and that's why it's here now on our doorstep. So I'm very concerned about that. I'd like to have some kind of transparency, some investigation into this to see what happened exactly, have it published on a website somewhere that we could all see. We should even have a town hall with public county health officials to discuss the long-term implications of all of these toxins. We're talking some of the heaviest hitters on the Prop 65 list. They have radiation detectors over there, which makes sense. There were nursing homes that burned down. We saw the people being literally pushed out in their beds right out onto the street, one step ahead of the flames. We saw automobile dealerships burned down, mechanic shops burned down, dental offices, everything to do with radioactive imaging. So they've got radioactive monitors over there, but we're talking also strychnine, we're talking mercury, lead, asbestos, lithium.
Mr. Moore, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I'm afraid our time is up, but thank you for your comments.
Hi, my name is Krista Granger. I was here last meeting with other folks on Roundup, and I just want to thank you guys for hearing our concerns. Thank you for the police chief who came out and spoke to our group at the end of the month, and that was really it. Thank you. I think that's showing government works, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Granger. Anyone else wishing to speak? Madam Clerk, do we have any correspondence?
We do not.
Okay, at that point, I will close public comment and bring it back to the members for statements and comments. I'll start with Ms. Davis.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple of things. It's always helpful for us to take advantage of volunteer opportunities and do what we can to make a difference in the community. And one of those opportunities is coming up on February 19th at 6 p.m. That is when LAHSA, the LA County Homeless Services Authority, will be doing the count for our unhoused residents. And so if you would like to sign up to volunteer, registration is highly encouraged but not required. But if you do want to sign up in advance, the easiest way is to go to theycountwillyou.org, and you can sign up and help. And if it sounds intimidating, it's really not as challenging as it might sound. You're not actually making contact with anyone. You're given a list of an area. You drive around, you make notations on that list, so you're not coming in direct contact with anyone, but you're helping to make sure that those folks are counted. So Again, February 19th at 6 p.m., starts at the Le Faitre Center. So we invite anyone that has an opportunity to volunteer for that. We would greatly appreciate it. And then another opportunity to make a difference is to walk in the Crop Walk. That is on March 9th. The registration is at 1:30 at the United Methodist Church at the corner of Bennett and Vista Bonita. And then the walk begins at 2 p.m. The proceeds from that will benefit Shepherd's Pantry, the St. Vincent de Paul Society at St. Dorothy Church, and also the Spartan Garden at Sandburg. The walk will actually take you through the Spartan Garden, so you can see that, see where they are helping to teach students how to grow healthy food, and also providing that healthy food to those students and their families. So again, March 9th, you can help provide for the needs of some of our community members. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Karen. Shauna?
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mendel?
Mayor, thank you. The end of this week will be a day where we can express with intention those that we love and care for. And I hope that not only that we do that, but we express that love and care and grace to those that have lost their homes, that have been very ill by this bug that's been going around, that are just on hard times. It's just important that as a city that we do that, and I hope that we not only think of those that we care much about and that we live with, but that we look past that and take the time to say a good word and express thanks to those that we see at the store and the gas pumps and wherever that we are. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mendel. Michael?
Well, I'm sure the mayor will expand on this, but the mayor did attend the L'Oreal Park community event and spent the whole time there, and it was quite enlightening, so I'm sure he'll expand on that a little bit later. This morning, we toured St. Lucy's. We had a little community meeting that was there, or a gathering. It was well attended. And myself and Janet and Cindy from the library were there with us, and we got to go on a little tour of the library, and I'm not a library, I'm sorry, of St. Lucy's. It was a nice event. We learned some things. We learned that Frank Lloyd Wright actually had a hand in that building, signed off on it, and that there's only 14 students per classroom there. So they get some really great teaching and learning there. So it was a very nice event, very well attended. This last Monday, yesterday, I was at my COG meeting. We had a presentation from the chief of fire from Monrovia, actually Arcadia, I'm sorry. And we were informed that March 24th, the state of California is going to be redoing their high fire severity zone mapping. They're going to increase that area, which means that if you weren't in a high fire severity zone, you may now in the future, which will affect your insurance rates. And part of being in that zone is you have to have 5 feet of no vegetation around your home and a 30-foot defensible space around it. And so that is going to be a bit of a shock. And that's just the minimum that you need to be doing. So we were, like I said, we were given quite a bit of information. But again, be cautious of how that comes out. And some municipalities that have not changed some of their requirements for building will have 4 months to do so once the state issues the new maps. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, starting off with the discussion about the Lario staging area. I was present at the Duarte Town Hall meeting. Quite an experience. Unfortunately, not a great learn because the learning opportunity didn't get to happen. But the players involved did hear the audience greatly. I think a couple of things have come from that. Did get to participate since that time in a Zoom meeting sponsored and asked for and expected by the water master and all of the governing water agencies in the area, because they certainly, as Mr. Moore alluded, and rightfully so, they have great concerns about the future opportunities of what sorting hazardous waste next to our water supply might entail. I came away from the briefing on the water group, and we had several experts from our community in the water world present, and I believe they came away with the same comfort level that I did, that, believe me, the water people are holding the EPA and FEMA's feet to the ground, and Corps of Engineers, that they will not do something that will impact our water in a negative manner. There is constant monitoring, both ground, air, and water monitoring going on. The operation is being managed in a prudent manner. If we get into serious heavy rains this week, which are anticipated, that operation will cease operating until the rains subside enough to make it reasonable again. Additionally, two more sites have opened up in Altadena, one at Farnsworth Park and one at the Altadena Country Club, to add this type of sort program to the process. So this is not the only one that's in our neighboring yard, but it is, the work will be done on site or in the burn region as well. We have not yet learned routes or transportation of product that's been sorted where it's going, but I assure you that none of these sites are very large, so the outbound has to happen in enclosed vehicles on a regular basis, and it's being staged by the vendor, and it will go to the ultimate haz waste refuse locations once all those agreements get made. But not in our backyard, I assure you, because we don't have a location in our backyard to store it or to dump it, if that word is the right word. So we are watching that. Our neighbors in the surrounding community are clearly watching it and very vocal. I encourage the folks, if they are concerned about it and upset, find a medium that has facts in it, not just conjecture or opinion. Don't surrender to the fire, but listen to the details, and I think your comfort level will increase, and find out that they're doing the best they can with what they have, and they're not doing it hazardly. So with that, I have no other comments, but I would invite Mr. Raymond to share if I missed something.
Evening, everyone. Mayor, that was great. I think you hit all the high points in the notes that I had. EPA.gov/California-wildfires actually has links to the presentation that they made at the City of Azusa council meeting that talks about the steps being taken. They also have a story map on that site that has all the sorting and storing locations. So as most up-to-date information on that website. So EPA.gov/California-wildfires.
Great, thank you. Mr. City Attorney, any comments?
Nothing from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to the consent calendar, items 2 through 5. Items on the consent calendar will be enacted in one motion without individual discussion unless a member of the council wishes to remove for separate discussion. Does anyone wish to remove an item from consent?
No, I'll move items 2 through 5.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Alalos moved. Ms. Davis second.
I'll now open up so you
Two.
can vote.
2 through 5. We'll vote now, please.
Motion carries 5-0.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
The training was successful.
Again, we're navigating a
official
new
vote.
touch and go, and
Ooh,
we don't even have a 12-year-old telling us, dummy, you old man, you did it wrong. Yes, that's good. I'm sure that day's coming, though. We'll probably fumble here somewhere.
true.
All right. Our next item is item number 6, new business to award a contract for CDBG-funded street improvements at Norgate Street and near Glen Avenue here in Glendora. Plan number 1394 to COP Contracting, Inc. in the amount of $361,364. Presenting tonight is Interim Assistant Public Works Director Valerie Velasquez Santoya. Welcome. tell us what we need to know.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and good evening, Council. So as mentioned, this is a presentation on the CDBG-funded street improvements for fiscal year '25. And just quick background, the CDBG, or Community Development Block Grant, is a program that is administered by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development in order to address affordable housing, anti-poverty efforts, and infrastructure development. So the city is able to use this funding every year to do a street improvement project or curb ramp improvement project. So this year, the identified plan is going to be a street improvement project in the area between Near Glen Avenue from the west to Glendora Avenue to the east, Gladstone Street to the north, and Juanita to the south, covering 4 streets: Norgate, Payson, Kirkwall, and Renwick. So it'll be a 2-inch grind and overlay, restriping, and also doing improvements to the curb gutter and some sidewalk improvements. So we have a nice accessible path at the completion of that project. So in compliance with the city's procurement requirements, we went ahead and issued a notice inviting bids on October 17th. By the November 21st due date, we had received 6 proposals ranging from $361,364 to just over $474,000. And we've got the different firms listed there at the right, as well as their proposal amounts. So after reviewing, COP Contracting was found to be the lowest responsible bidder, meeting the minimum qualifications of licensing, bonding, and experience. So the recommendation tonight will be to award to COP Contracting. As mentioned, this is funded by the Community Development Block Grant. Each year, the city goes ahead and Public Works will put an application in for the identified street project to the Community Development Department that oversees the Community Development Block Grant Program. And for the 24-25 CDBG annual plan, Public Works was given an allocation of $422,000. So the contract award of $361,000 will be fully covered by the CDBG grant, as well as enough for a 10% contingency, and then any remainder will just carry forward to next year. So the recommendation tonight is that City Council go ahead and award a categorical exemption for CEQA, award the contract to COP Contracting in the amount of $361,364, authorize the city manager to execute the agreement, and authorize the Public Works Director to execute any necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed 10%. And with that, that concludes my report, and I can answer any questions for you.
Thank you, Valerie. At this point, I'll open up for any questions or discussions. Mr. Thompson.
The only question that I have is with the hour-by-hour news that we are getting from the East Coast, are these funds still going to come, or have they already been received, or are these funds in a pause mode, or could you update us on that, or
I
Adam?
don't believe the Community Development Block Grant is going to be impacted. This is not the funds that they're targeting and looking at, so this is something that's been in place for quite some time. So I don't believe we'll be impacted with this.
Great, thank you. I thank you for the good job that you've done, and I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Shauna?
Thank you, Valerie. You actually answered my question. I was going to ask if the unused portion rolls over, and you said it does, so thank you.
Yes.
Karen?
Thank you, Valerie, for this report. And just for the sake of folks watching this, could you answer the question of how these particular streets were decided upon, both from the perspective of CDBG and also Public Works perspective? Because, you know, folks would like to see their streets paved, so we can let them know how you decided on these particular streets.
All right. So the CDBG, as I mentioned, does have national objectives, which the city needs to meet. So when we're deciding what we're going to do for a street improvement project, we need to go ahead and address one of those 3 national objectives, one of which is it's got to be a benefit to low to moderate income. So the city is limited to finding census tracts where the neighborhoods are identified to be low to moderate income. So there's only a few areas that we can select from for street improvement projects. So we'll take a look and make sure that that area is eligible, and we don't have any water improvement projects coming because we don't want to do anything and then have to go in and tear it up. So we're limited, and we just take a look and see what needs to be improved and what qualifies.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Valerie. Michael?
Thank you, Valerie, for your report. You just answered my question. I was going to ask if, have we looked at any water improvements in those areas? I mean, what's the piping look like so we don't have to rip up the streets later?
I don't have the exact answers to what our pipes look like, but I don't, you stumped me on that one. I'd have to find
You
out
sort
and
of
get
answered
back
it.
to you on that. Right.
Is Bill coming up?
Yes, you were coming?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. We did confer with our water division. We did have them take a look at all the water infrastructure in that area. They assured us that we are not scheduled for any improvements in the next 10 years. So we feel confident that it's a good time to go ahead and do the repaving.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks, Chief.
Great, thank you, and it's always nice to get new streets and make them hold up a lot longer than what they've done, so that's great. Appreciate that. I have no more comments. At this point, with no more comments, I will entertain a motion to
I'll move items 1 through 4.
move by Mr. Alves,
Second?
second by Mr. Thompson. Please vote.
Sorry.
Motion
Motion carries 5-0.
5-0. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Valerie. At this point, I have sad news. That's the end of our business. So, gee, I don't know what we're going to do. Next meeting, we promise will be a little longer, worth your drive. So,
Yeah, just on that note, Mayor, if you wouldn't mind. So
please.
the next 7, 8 meetings are going to be pretty significant for those people who may be interested. We'll be discussing our strategic plan update. Staff met earlier this week. We'll provide some more details of some draft goals that the council set and outcomes and talk about actions. We'll be talking about employee negotiations, and we'll be talking about the budget, the next 2-year budget, and we'll be talking about all things happening with the feds right now. And so we're trying to keep our eyes and ears open and understand what's going on. So several large capital projects that will also be coming forward. We'll be kicking off our next community survey in the next couple of months as well. So we'll also have State of the City sometime in late April, early May, I think, as well. So lots of discussion at this body. The meetings will be a lot longer moving forward, so I apologize on that front. But if you are interested in the city, the next 7, 8 meetings should be action-packed.
Great. Thank you. And to the students in the room, if Mr. Waters does not believe you that was the most exciting thing you got to report on, have him call me. All right, anyone else have any comments? Mr. Alamos.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Gary and Kathy Boyer for being Citizen of the Year. It was just announced this week. And I'd like to wish everybody a happy Valentine's.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Great. Well, thank you all for sharing your evening with us. Happy Valentine's Day. And at 7:29 and change, I will adjourn our meeting.